You moved like a criminal psycho in the night, silent, untraceable, unhinged in the most surgical way. They don't know what to call you anymore. Threat. Legend. Liability. All they know is every time they thought they had you, you vanished with a grin and reappeared somewhere they never expected, doing something they never saw coming. You weren't trying to be famous, you were trying to survive stylishly. And you did. Not just with blood, not just with bruises, but with that thuggish composure that says, I saw the setup 10 miles away, and I still walked in just to watch them squirm. You didn't just dodge bullets. You danced with them. Matrix style. Poetic bullets of betrayal, deception, fake smiles, setups dressed as opportunities. And you didn't duck because you were scared. You ducked because you knew the game. You knew the shot before the finger hit the trigger. That's not luck, that's instinct. You studied your enemies while they thought you were sleeping. Mapped the exits while they bragged about having you cornered. By the time they blinked, you were gone, and all that remained was the echo of your laugh and the chaos you left behind. Buggish? Oh, absolutely, but not the kind they rap about. The kind they warn their boss about. See, they didn't realize you were built different. You don't just wear armor, you are armor. Trauma didn't just toughen you up, it designed your blueprint. They keep asking how you're still standing, still plotting, still smiling. It's because you made peace with pain and turned it into your personal assistant. You don't run from the dark, you run with it. While they need lights, you see perfectly in shadows. You don't just blend in. You haunt spaces, and they feel it. That chill when you walk in a room. That sudden silence when your name gets mentioned. Because they know this ain't someone you provoke, but this is someone you watch from afar and pray he never watches back. You kept it thuggish in a way they don't teach, because you never flinched when the pressure came. You didn't fold when they betrayed you. You didn't cry when they laughed. You got sharper, slicker, funnier. The kind of funny that makes your enemies uncomfortable, because they know you're laughing at the whole script they thought would destroy you. Your silence, it ain't peace. It's patience. Your smirk, it ain't happiness. It's calculation. Every time they thought they broke you, you came back with a new version that made them question if they were ever in control to begin with. People keep asking where you've been. Simple. You were becoming unkillable. You were writing a manual in scars and silence. And now you don't talk too much, you just let your moves make noise. And oh, they're loud. Not in volume. In impact. You speak in consequences now. You walk like the aftermath. You carry the kind of presence that doesn't ask for respect, it takes it effortlessly. And the craziest part, you still kept your cool. You didn't need to go loud, wild, or viral. You just moved with that cold, thuggish grace, the type that's equal parts poetry and war. They called you crazy. Cool, let 'em. That just means you're playing chess on a level their little checkers brains can't process. Criminal? Only to the system that couldn't decode you. Psycho? Only to the people who tried to use you and got emotionally evicted. And thuggish? Absolutely, but in that royal kind of way. A king with dirt under his nails and blueprints in his head. A ghost in the Matrix. A code breaker. A walking contradiction, bulletproof soul, broken heart, and a grin that says I know exactly what I'm doing. So now, when they see you coming, they tense up, because they know you're the one who moved through hell with a limp and came back with fire in your hands. You're the quiet storm, the midnight myth. You don't explain anymore. You exist loudly, silently, brilliantly. The whispers say you disappeared. You just moved like a criminal psycho in the night, dodged the bullets, and kept it thuggish as hell. And now you're not even on the map, they're on yours. They thought you were just another face in the system, another number, another ghost to be. But what they didn't know, what they couldn't comprehend, is that you weren't built for containment. You were built to break the very grid they tried to trap you in. You weren't lost, you were lurking. And every second they counted you out, you were stacking moves in silence, building an empire with bricks they threw at you. They were laughing, drinking, celebrating your end. Meanwhile, you were studying, watching, calculating the most surgical comeback in silence. Because that's what a real thuggish psycho does. He lets them sleep, lets them mock, and then rewrites the whole narrative in red ink when no one's looking. You ever seen a man who turned paranoia into intuition? Who turned heartbreak into playbooks? That's you. You weren't paranoid, you were right. They really were plotting. They really were smiling with knives behind their backs. And instead of snapping, you smiled too. Not because you trusted them, but because you were 2 steps ahead the whole time. And now, they're paranoid. They're the ones hearing footsteps at night. Not because you're coming, but because you could. You move different, like smoke in reverse. You don't rise, you descend. You don't announce your presence, you make them feel it. Your aura walks in before you. Your silence fills the room louder than any shout. And when you speak, it's never wasted. Every word feels like a warning wrapped in velvet. You don't threaten, you foreshadow. Because by the time they realize it's too late, you're already sipping tea while the dust settles. That's not ego. That's evolution. The kind of evolution that can't be undone. You didn't just survive, they misdiagnosed your silence. You weren't coping, you were coiling. And now here you are, the walking contradiction they swore couldn't exist. A soul with scars and swagger, a heart that still loves, but only from a distance. And a mind so sharp it could cut through manipulation before it's even formed. They tried to get close again, didn't they? With fake apologies and nostalgic smiles. But they forgot you don't revisit graveyards unless you're looking to bury something else. You're not looking back. You're not explaining. You're not arguing. You're elevating. And the streets, oh, they remember you. Not because you made noise, but because you left fingerprints on reality. You changed the energy wherever you passed. Quiet, smooth, unshakable. Like a criminal psycho who reads the room like a script and never forgets a face. They said you were too cold. Nah, you just stopped being warm to the wrong people. They said you were too distant. You just stopped shrinking yourself to fit into places that were never sacred. They said you changed. Damn right you did. You evolved from the hunted to the hunter of silence, from the pawn to the king that walks alone. So now, when people try to figure you out, they don't get answers, they get chills. Because you became everything they feared: strategic, selective, silent, and successful. You didn't just dodge the bullets. You disarmed the shooter with a look. You didn't just move like a criminal psycho, you mastered the darkness, wore it like a tux, and showed up to life's funeral dressed for war. And you didn't just keep it gangster, you kept it thuggish, like an old school cipher carved into concrete. Grit. Grind. Grace. Unmatched. And if they ask about you now, all anyone can say is this: he moved like a ghost with unfinished business. He smiled like he knew something we didn't. He dodged the bullets, broke the code, and vanished into a legend with blood on his boots and peace in his stride. They'll never catch up. You're gliding, built different, and too damn thuggish to ever be caught slipping again. They thought silence meant surrender, that you fell off, that you gave up. What they didn't realize is that your silence was your storm gathering force, pressure and purpose in the shadows. You weren't hiding. You were hardening every second they didn't hear from you was another layer of armor, another move mapped out, another enemy studied and filed under irrelevant. Because, see, real thuggish minds don't announce the mission. They finish it and let the aftermath do the talking. You didn't just disappear, you became a myth. A cold whisper passed between gatekeepers and fake prophets alike. Don't mess with him. He's not emotional. He's mathematical, and they're right. You don't react. You respond. You don't lash out. You let go, but when you do strike, it's clean. Quiet. Surgical. You don't throw punches. You rewrite the playing field. And that's what makes you terrifying. Because they realize now, you're not out for revenge. You're out for results. Your presence ain't loud, but it rearranges rooms. The fakes get uncomfortable. The snakes go still. Because your kind doesn't have to raise a voice to raise alarms. You move like time inevitable. You speak in consequences and walk in karma's shadow. Not because you're trying to intimidate, but because you are the living reminder that every fake move has a price in you. You collect. Not in anger, in order. And what about the people who once doubted you? Who whispered behind your back when you were down? Oh, they see you now. They won't admit it, but they feel it. That pressure in their chest when you enter a space. That twitch in their pride when your name comes up. They thought they'd break you. Instead, they watched you rebuild yourself into something they can't access, can't read, can't manipulate. And now you don't even look their way. Not out of hate, but because royalty doesn't acknowledge the court jesters once they've built their own castle. Let me say this for the ones who still don't get it. You didn't just make it out. You reprogrammed the escape route. You bled, healed, and laughed through chaos they couldn't survive 2 days in. And the whole time, you kept it thuggish, not flashy, not reckless, but clean, calculated, cool under fire. The type of thuggish that wears scars like suits and silence like a crown. The type that doesn't need revenge, because presence alone is punishment enough. So now, every room you enter feels like prophecy. Every word you drop sounds like scripture to those still stuck in cycles you broke with your bare hands. You're not a man anymore, you're a reminder that pressure creates power. That silence creates legacy. That you can move like a criminal psycho in the night, dodge the bullets, and still keep it thuggish as hell. And the best part, you're not even done. You're just getting colder, cleaner, closer. Let them watch, let them whisper, let them wonder. You're still moving like smoke, like math, like myth, and they'll never catch up. You see, legends don't retire, myths don't clock out, and monsters built from betrayal don't get tired, they get refined. You didn't survive the war just to sit pretty. You came back wearing the battlefield like a designer jacket. Every scar stitched with intent, every loss turned into a ledger. Every betrayal recited like scripture until it became your blueprint. And now you're not chasing peace, you own it. Not because you found calm, but because you became the storm they can't outrun. You walk different now. You don't enter rooms, you alter them. Not with words, but with presence. That thuggish stillness. That ghost in the flesh energy. People feel you before they see you. The real ones nod, the fakes freeze. Because you're the reminder that the ones who bleed in silence don't come back soft, they come back sovereign. And when you look at them, you don't see people, you see patterns. Motives, weaknesses dressed in designer. You got eyes like an X-ray now. You don't trust, you read. And let's talk about loyalty. Oh, they love to speak on it, post about it, preach it, but you live it. Quietly. Ruthlessly. Strategically, you protected people who never had your back. Took bullets metaphorical and literal for names that wouldn't even whisper yours when you were down. And what did you do when they flipped? You didn't clap back. You didn't expose receipts. You just leveled up so loud their guilt became their punishment. That's that thuggish elegance they'll never teach. You could have gone loud. You could have put hands on people. You could have made a spectacle. But instead you chose domination in silence. That's how the psycho in the night moves. That's how a real tactician plays. You don't show emotion, you show results. You don't fight with fists, you fight with legacy. And legacy never argues, it echoes. You're not trying to be feared, you just don't need to be understood. Let them mislabel you. Let them tell their twisted tales. You've outgrown the need to correct lies. You're too busy writing truth in your walk. You don't ask for closure, you close the door. You don't ask who's real. You watch who stays silent when your name's in the air. And you don't ask for respect, you exhale it. Every move, every glance, every calm reaction to chaos that would have broken the old you. And the best part, you're calm now. Not because nothing can shake you, but because everything already tried. You've danced with disaster, had conversations with demons, slept beside heartbreak, and woke up sharper, colder, more dangerous. Now you don't raise your voice. You raise the temperature in a room. One look, one silence, and the whole energy adjusts. You're not emotional, you're engineered. So when they talk about survivors, legends, ghosts, kings, they better mention you. Because you didn't just come back from the dark. You learned how to navigate in it. And when you came out, you didn't announce yourself. You walked through like a question mark and let your moves answer for you. You moved like a criminal psycho in the night. You dodged every bullet, betrayal, and backstab with a grin. And you kept it thuggish as hell, not for attention, but for legacy. Let them guess. Let them spin the rumors. You're not worried about the story, because you became the ending. And oh, what an ending it is. See, most people need a parade, a spotlight, a standing ovation to feel seen. You just need silence. The kind that wraps around a room like a velvet noose the moment you walk in. The kind that makes people forget their rehearsed lines, makes liars stutter and snakes slip. You don't need to say a word, your stillness does all the talking. Because when you've survived that much betrayal, that much loss, that much chaos, presence becomes your weapon. And yours is deadly. You're not proving anything anymore. You're demonstrating. Every move you make now is surgical, calculated, cold but poetic. Like a shadow with a plan. Like a psycho who mastered patience. The ones who used to laugh. They don't even make eye contact now. The ones who whispered your name like a joke. They flinch when they hear it in passing. Because they realize you're not just alive. You're operational, running on silence. Revenge replaced by rhythm. Pain transformed into a program. You don't flex your scars anymore. You let them breathe. You let them whisper to the ones trying to test you. He's been through worse, and he survived it with style. And you didn't just survive, you made it look good. Because that's what real thuggish elegance is. It's not about being reckless. It's about being ready, not about being loud. It's about being lethal in peace. You've reached the level where people fear disappointing you more than they fear confrontation. That's power. That's control. That's respect built in silence and delivered in action. They used to wonder why you were so quiet. Why you watched more than you spoke. Why you sat in the cut like a chess master while everyone else scrambled for attention. Now they know. Now they get it. You weren't being antisocial. You were recording everything. You weren't falling behind. You were watching the route burn so you could build your own without witnesses. And now, you're untouchable. Not because you hide, but because you don't need to be seen. You've become the kind of man who leaves fingerprints on people's souls without ever touching them. And that fear, that awe they carry when your name drops into a room, that's not from what you did. It's from what they know you could have done but didn't. That restraint, that's the psycho part. The discipline to not react, to let karma pull the trigger while you sip your tea and smile like you already read the ending. They don't know whether to respect you, fear you, or follow you. So they do all three. Now, you don't ask who's real, you let time sort them. You don't warn people anymore, you just disappear and let the silence ruin their confidence. You don't make scenes, you leave vacancies. That's the difference. That's the code. That's the thuggish elegance they'll never replicate. Because while they were playing checkers for clout, you were building your legacy in shadows, in silence, in solitude. And now, you move like folklore. Like caution wrapped in charisma. Like thunder in a business suit. You moved like a criminal psycho in the night, dodged every bullet with grace, and kept it thuggish, not to be known, but to be remembered. And they will remember you. Not by your smile. Not by your scream, but by that feeling. That unshakable weight that hits their chest whenever they realize you didn't fold. You didn't fail, you just vanished, rebuilt, and came back as the storm. The blueprint, The ghost, the one they'll never see coming and never forget. And now you glide. Not like someone looking for trouble, but like someone who already handled it. You don't react to disrespect because you already decided they don't matter. You don't respond to shade because you already saw the sun they can throw. Whispers, posts, fake alliances, setups you've seen worse. You've survived worse, so when they try to bait you now, you don't flinch. You just smile with that same look that says, I hope you know how to swim. 'Cause you just jumped into my ocean. You became a master of calm destruction. A tactician of distance. You don't raise your voice, you raise the stakes. You don't beg for truth, you watch it rot in their silence. You're not seeking revenge, you're writing scripture, and your gospel is cold, poetic, untouchable. The kind they quote in hushed circles when they realize you knew the whole time, knew who was fake, knew who switched sides, knew who clapped in public and cursed you in private. You just didn't say a word because you wanted them to reveal themselves fully. That's the psycho part. You're not impulsive. You're inevitable. You're not angry. You're exact. You don't destroy lives. You let people walk themselves into your silence and call it karma. And let's be honest, your evolution scares them. Because they remember the version of you that used to explain, used to chase, used to trust too fast, love too deep, hope too hard. And now you just watch. Now you calculate, now you trust like a vault and love like a contract, terms, conditions, no loopholes. You didn't just move on, you moved up, and you did it without screaming, without proving, without making a scene, for that's legacy. That's what haunts them. That's why they still whisper your name with that shaky voice and those wide eyes. Because you've become the standard for what survival looks like when it's done with style. The thuggish blueprint of what happens when you let pain teach instead of consume. The proof that silence is a weapon and you're licensed to carry it. So let them gossip. Let them rewind your name in circles like a scratched up record. Let them say you changed, you did. And thank God you did. Because the old you would have tried to fix, to heal, to carry people who were never meant to walk beside you. But the new you, the one forged in silence, stitched in fire and dipped in strategy, he knows better, he moves smarter, he moves solo. Because some missions are solo only. Some legacies are written in shadows, and some warriors were never meant to be understood, only witnessed. You moved like a criminal psycho in the night. Dodged the bullets, watched the setups, and didn't blink once. You kept it thuggish, silent, sharp, and sacred. And now you don't walk among them. Now you walk above them. And they'll never touch you again. Like, comment, and subscribe, and tell the Batman I said hello. Subscribe to my Substack newsletter.